Hello and welcome to today's session. In today's session, we are differentiating between true labor and false labor. So, false labor is also referred to as pre-labor contractions. And this is a common conditions that normally happens near the end of pregnancy. It's usually as a result of the patient mistaking Braxton Hicks contraction for the regular contraction associated with the true labor. Remember, Braxton Hicks contractions are irregular uterine contractions resulting from the stretching of the uterus that are normal and that don't actually result in effacement, dilatation of the cervix, or fetal descent. Although these Braxton Hicks contractions may begin in the second trimester, many patients do not or are not aware of them until they are in the third trimester. So differentiating between forced labor from the early stage of true labor requires some serious assessment that involves listening to the patient's story, observing and palpating the patient's abdomen, and in some situation, performing vaginal examination to document whether the contractions are causing cervical change. Okay, so let's look at some of the differences between the two. So in terms of the description, we are saying that forced labor or pre-labor contractions are spontaneous tightening in the abdomen that comes and goes. Contractions don't get closer together and they have irregular pattern. Compared to the early labor where there is onset of rhythmic contraction and relaxation of uterine muscle, contractions become more frequent, closer together, and stronger over time. In terms of discomfort, the patient can feel contraction only in front of the abdomen for the false labor, whereas in early labor, contractions start at the back and move towards the front. In terms of location, contractions are localized in false labor and usually they are just in the front of the abdomen. The patient can usually point to the contractions location. Whereas for the early labor, contractions are generalized and they usually begin at the lower back and wrap around to the front of the uterus. In terms of pattern or frequency, contractions in false labor are irregular. They don't become more frequent or last longer. So there's no pattern that is evident here. This is different from early labor where contractions come regularly, usually 4 to 6 centimeters, 4 to 6 minutes apart, and become closer together, typically lasting 30 to 70 seconds. In terms of strength, contractions in false labor are usually weak and don't get stronger with time. They can alternate where we have a strong contraction followed by a weaker contractions. Whereas contractions in early labor are stronger with time, the patient may feel vaginal or rectal pressure. Remember, contractions will be varying from mild to moderate to strong contraction. What is the effect on cervical change? You find that cervical dilatation does not progress in false labor, but there is progressive dilatation in early labor. In terms of activity and position, contraction may be slow or may stop with activity, position changes, or hydration. But in early labor, contraction continue no matter what position the patient assumes or activity such as walking or may intensify the contraction. So those are some of the differences between false labor and early labor. Thank you.